Artfight is upon us once again, and I am really excited to be participating in my second year of Artfight. Last year's Artfight was definitely a learning experience, and honestly, I was nowhere near prepared for it. I didn't have any refs for my characters that were up to date. I didn't even get to finish all the refs that I wanted. So this year, I'm going to try to get some more refs done so people have more characters to choose from to attack me. Also, for those who don't know what Artfight is a yearly event for artists where they are separated into two teams and they attack each other by drawing each other's characters. Pretty much an art trading game. Each piece of artwork is worth a certain number of points, and whichever team gets the most points wins. It's a really enjoyable game or event, or however you want to put it, and I really recommend joining if you've been thinking about it. Anyway, to prepare for this art fight, I wanted to get a few refs and headshots done. The main characters I want to get done is a harpy-like character I have named Owen, my mermaid character Saber, and 3 different elf-like characters I have named Nari, Logan, and Melody. I'm a little nervous for Owen's ref sheet since I've never actually drawn his new design. I've had it in my head for a while, but never actually put it to paper or a screen. So, not only am I going to have to make his ref sheet, I'm going to have to get his design down and going through the rough draft stages as quickly as I can. Wish me luck on him. Anyway, we do not have much time on our hands here, so let's go ahead and get into those time lapses. So here we are with Owen's ref sheet. So for Owen, I spent like a week beforehand, kind of like brainstorming and looking at other harpy designs and kind of getting an idea for how I really wanted him to look. I've had his design in my head for probably around 4 or 5 years. I just haven't drawn him because I was just having trouble getting it exactly how I wanted. And at one point I just kind of gave up and put it on the shelf, and now I'm taking him off the shelf after like 4 or 5 years, dusting him off and getting him a fresh ref sheet. One of the drawings I took a lot of inspiration from, I'll pop it up here on screen, is by HisahisaMori521 on Twitter, or X. I never will call it X, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, they deleted their account, so I can't leave a link to the art itself so you can go give it some love. But here's the art, they made it, and I took inspiration. Other than that, I took a lot of inspiration from just different harpies designs I have seen through the years. It would be nearly impossible for me to cite all my sources and leave everything that I got ideas from. So just know that I took a very broad and giant stroke and brought it all in of like different harpy designs and brought it all in for Owen, and here he is. Owen is actually a character that I've had for a long time. He originally started out as a human OZ, and I remember I made him because I wanted him to be based off of bees. Kind of a funny inspiration point there. So when designing him back in the day, I made sure to add a lot of yellow, but I still made his hair purple. And redesigning Owen here, I wanted to keep the purple, but also give him yellow clothes, and as you can see here, I did. Another thing that I did to keep the bee motif was actually adding a bunch of stripes on his feathers, because I just wanted to have like some very small, subtle callbacks to him being inspired by a bee and becoming a lot more than that. So when it comes to Owen nowadays, he is actually in the universe along my current OCs like Tyler, Ice, maybe Cherry. I'm still deciding on whether or not I want him to be part of Tyler and Ice's like universe, but all of those, including maybe also Abraxas and Xerxes. So he is with all of them and he interacts with them, and he's actually one of Tyler's best friends. In my headcanons for my own version of harpies, harpies are going to be a very spiritual species, meaning they have a lot of like importance in magic and religion. So Tyler often goes to Owen for advice or for information because Owen has a giant library just full of information in different tomes, books, and everything you could ever imagine. Pretty much, Owen is the wise owl that kind of leads Tyler along in his magic and spiritual journey. So now we are getting into the headshot, and oh my god, the first few moments I was struggling with the sketch and the, like, what position I wanted him in, but after a while I just kind of decided, let me take the original sketch that I did where I was getting his design down and just alter it a little bit and make that his headshot. Here, I feel like you can kind of really see Owen's personality a little bit more because he's supposed to be a little bit excitable and kind of like just a little bit of a goober, honestly. Like, he is definitely going to be nerding out about all the knowledge that he has and getting really excited about it, be like, isn't this so freaking cool? Oh my god! Despite him being a little bit of a goober and overexcitable, he is actually very intelligent, he is studious, he is smart, he has a lot of information just stuck in that little dome of his. He is definitely going to be the person that you're going to want to turn to if you need information on something, because chances are he will probably have it, and if he doesn't have it on the top of his head, it's probably going to be in some book tucked away somewhere in his library. Anyway, we are getting to the end here, and that was Owen. So here we are with Saber's ref sheet. Saber is actually a character that I've also had for a very long time. I just don't draw him very much. I might have a lot of characters that I have had for a very long time, but I just don't draw very much. Whoops. Anyway, technically, Saber is going to be in the same universe as all my other OCs, but his story is going to be disconnected from Tyler's. He has his own story that he's going through. So, getting into him a little bit and his species, I love to make my own headcanons when it comes to fantastical, mythical species that exist. I just like adding my own little twist to them. So, when it comes to merms, I actually made it to where there are a bunch of different variants of type of merms, kind of looks like there's a bunch of different species of fish, almost. And Saber specifically is a cave variant, meaning that he lives in the dark underwater caves of the ocean. Hence why he has some more darker and muted colors, and also has bioluminescent spots on his body. I do take one thing from very commonplace mermaids is that they live in a kingdom. These kingdoms are separated by the different species variants that exist within my universe. And Saber is actually a prince. Prince Mermaid OC, I know, so original. The biggest thing about Saber is he's actually a runaway prince. He doesn't want to have any of his royalty, and he honestly hates that he was born into a royal family. He has all these pressures on him, and he just really hates it with every fiber of his being, so he dipped. After he left, he ended up swimming very, very far away so he wouldn't be spotted by the other members of his family and then brought back into the royal family that he just doesn't want to be a part of. And that is as much as I'm going to tell you about his story, because I want to be able to reveal it at my own pace, and if I end up writing it, I want you to be in suspense. But honestly, who knows if I will ever do that. I am much slower when it comes to writing, and honestly, not as, forthcoming with it. Anyway, now to his headshot. So, fun fact, this is technically a redo of a piece that I originally did in 2017, and then I redid it in 2021, and now I am redoing it again in 2025. If you look closely, you can actually see the 2021 version pop up in the background sometimes. But I'm going to throw up both versions, the 2017 and the 2021 version. So, yeah, look at the improvement, man. And this actually shows how long I've had Saber, because I think I made him in 2017, or maybe I made him in 2016. I'm not 100% sure. But I'm gonna say, I honestly feel so bad for neglecting him, because he is a pretty cool character, and I love the design that I came up with all the way back when I was a itty-bitty teenager. Of course, I have tweaked it as I've gotten older and made it more to what it is now, but it was still pretty solid from the get-go. I feel like a lot of artists can relate to the whole, like, I have a lot of OCs that I love, but I just never freaking draw and I hate it. Like, I have seen so many posts where artists, like, post an OC of there and they're like, this is this guy, I rarely draw him, and I want to draw him more, but I never do. And usually when you draw this OC, you're like, I'm gonna draw him more from now on, I vow to, and then you don't. You just don't. Or you do, maybe sometimes you do, but I tend not to. But anyway, that is all of Saber. Let's get on to the next OC. So here we are with my character, Nari. And before I get into anything about her, I see the hilarity in the fact that I have a character named Nari, and I am a Tighnari main in Genshin. Okay, anyway, Nari is actually my OC's Tyler's mom. And as his mom, she plays a extremely important role in his story and has quite a complicated story of her own. I don't really want to get into it too much because, again, I want to give myself the opportunity to disperse the story and tell it at my own pace, whether that's through writing it, which I feel like is unlikely, or maybe doing animation memes, which is way more likely. The main thing to know about Nari is that she is a very gentle woman and is quite traditional. So traditional, in fact, that she mainly only wears hanboks and other types of traditional Korean wear. And something that I do want to make clear is that Tyler and Nari are not Korean. They are in a culture that is based off other Asian cultures, and their specific, I guess you could say, subsect of like what their family was born to is based heavily on Korean culture, but they are not specifically Korean themselves. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the actual drawing itself because I had some challenges with it. So I was looking for a reference for Nari's ref, and eventually I found a pose that I like, and this pose happened to be from an Asian, I think it actually was Korean, clothing brand that sold stuff that was similar to hanboks. What I neglected to think about was, since this was a clothing company, and they want their models to look as perfect as possible to be able to sell the product, I neglected to think about, is this model photoshopped? As I was drawing, I pretty quickly realized that yeah, this model was a bit photoshopped. Some things were cinched, some things were made to look smaller, some things were made to look more appealing. So I kind of had to reverse engineer the Photoshop because I really don't like making my characters look overly perfect, I guess you could say. I actually really enjoy adding things like freckles, moles, dimples, stretch marks, everything to my characters because it just makes them look unique to me. But unfortunately, we are already running out of time on Nari's ref sheet, so let's get to the next one, which is Logan. So, Logan is a bit of an interesting character in the way that he was created and also in his personality. He is another character that I've had for quite a while, probably somewhere around middle school, and the whole reason I have him was one day I was doodling. I think it was on like a note card that you use for like index cards, and I was doodling and I made this female character that I called the No Fun Girl, and eventually this No Fun Girl switched genders and then became Logan. As I built Logan up, I already knew that I kind of wanted him to be the rebellious type, not just in his appearance, but also in his actions. Back when I made him, most of my characters were younger, so they would have been seen as rebels or a bit, delinquent if they were to drink beer, smoke cigarettes, or do things like that. So I made him a character that indulged in those things, but as I grew and as I made my characters older, as I got older, I changed him up a little bit, and he's still rebellious, but rebellious in a different way. And honestly, rebellious isn't the best term for him nowadays. The best term for him now is radical. As in, he's going to be the type who wants to fight for change for good. He's going to be the one who does the hard stuff. He's going to be the one who's at protests. He's going to be the one who constantly advocates for good, pretty much. In fact, as I was kind of building him up and building his personality and everything, one of my big inspirations is this picture of this really, really punk guy at a parade or something like that, and he's just bending down and letting this kid just like kind of poke his little spikes on his jacket, and I just wanted this like friendly, radical, progressive, just fights for the good type of guy. And this actually ties into his profession, which is, first of all, I need to give this small, little note that Tyler, Logan, and everybody is in a fantasy world where mythical creatures exist, so his job actually is working at a dragon sanctuary. First of all, imagine how cool that would be in real life. Oh my god, I would lose my shit. But he works at a dragon sanctuary helping injured and roughed up dragons get back into the wild or get back into the working world where they are often used as transportation. It's kind of like volunteer work, but he's actually paid for it because it requires so much manual labor. And as much as I'd love to continue gushing about this boy, we're running out of time here, so let's get into the next time lapse, which happens to be his girlfriend, Melody. And here we are with last but not least, Melody. You may have noticed that I'm not doing headshots anymore for my characters, and that's because by the time I got to Melody's rough sheet, Artfight had started, and I was just like gnawing to get started on my attacks. Like, I just wanted to grab people's OCs and just like bite into them like a cat and bunny kick them. I was so ready. Anyway, Melody is yet another character that I've had for quite a while that just kind of has stayed dusty on the shelf, unfortunately. And she was actually another character that spawned from a doodle. I was doodling in class instead of paying attention, like a lot of artists do, and I ended up creating Melody kind of just on a whim. It's kind of fitting that the two characters that were created from two little doodles ended up dating, isn't it? Anyway, the best way to describe Melody is just sassy pastel punk. She is very headstrong, does not like to be bossed around, and does not like to be told what to do, but does enjoy taking a leadership role or telling others what to do. This is not to say that she is bossy, she's just headstrong. But all of this headstrong personality is packed into a teeny tiny little package because Melody is short. And trust me, I can relate on that front. Ugh. Melody's ref is actually another one that I struggled with as well. I struggled to find a pose that I liked, and for some reason, while I was drawing this, I don't know what was happening to me, but to me the face looked bad, and then the hand looked bad, and then the arms looked bad. I swear to God I could not win on this ref, so I ended up having to like take a day and just like not look at it and then get back to it, because I don't know what was wrong, but my eyes were just not seeing correctly or something. I also ended up getting some help from some friends. I like sent them the ref and I was like, does this look good? It feels off to me, and my friends were like, you're in your head again, you need to stop, and I'm like, okay. But despite all the struggles that I ended up having, I still really love this ref, and I really love her pose because she just looks so sassy. I love it. Honestly, doing her ref has made me a bit excited to draw her again, just because I love her style so much. So after Artfight is over, I feel like I'm gonna have to like go on Pinterest or something and find some cute pastel punk outfits to throw her into. Honestly, I'm excited for that, so I may go ahead and start looking for outfits now. I'm honestly really proud of myself for managing to get these refs done in a pretty good time span. I didn't finish them before Artfight started, but I finished Melody's ref on the second day of Artfight, so I did damn good. I'm so excited for the rest of Artfight, whether I get a bunch of attacks or not. I just love drawing people's characters and seeing their reaction to my art. Seeing people get excited over the art I drew for them it brings me so much joy and happiness. I love it! To the people who are watching and participating in Artfight, tell me your Artfight username and your team in the comments. I just might choose one of your characters to sink my teeth into. Anyway, thank you so much for making it this far into the video, and if you want to support me elsewhere, you can follow me on my other socials. And if you want to go the extra mile, you can become a member of my Patreon where I upload high-res version of my drawings, and depending on the tier, you can see my spicy artwork and join my Discord. Now, I've got some attacks to work on, so I'll see you later. Bye bye!